Redding, California. Redding is a city in and the county seat of Shasta County, California, United States, in the northern part of the state. It lies along the Sacramento River, 162 miles, 261 kilometers, north of Sacramento, and 120 miles, 190 kilometers, south of California's northern border, shared with the state of Oregon. Interstate 5 bisects the entire city, from the south to north before it approaches Shasta Lake, which is located 15 miles, 24 kilometers, to the north. The 2010 population was 89,861. Redding is the largest city in the Shasta Cascade region, and it is the sixth largest city in the Sacramento Valley, behind Sacramento, Elk Grove, Roseville, Vacaville, and Chico. Etymology. During the gold rush, the area that now comprises Redding was called Poverty Flats. In 1868, the first land agent for the Central Pacific Railroad, a former Sacramento politician named Benjamin Bernard Redding, bought property in Poverty Flats on behalf of the railroad so that it could build a northern terminus there. In the process of building the terminus, the railroad also built a town in the same area, which they named Redding in honor of Benjamin Redding. In 1874 there was a dispute over the name by local legislators and it was changed for a time to Reading, in order to honor Pearson B. Reading, who founded the community of Shasta, but the name was officially changed back to Redding by 1880. It has been called Redding ever since. History. Indigenous culture. Before European settlers came to the area, it was inhabited by a tribe of Native Americans called the Wintu. At their height, the Wintu had as many as 239 villages in the Shasta County area. The first settlers. Although Europeans had been to California as early as 1542, when Juan Cabrillo sailed to what is now the San Diego Bay, the indigenous Indians were probably the only inhabitants of far northern California region until Russian fur trappers came through the area in 1815. The first European settlement in the area was established in 1844 by Pearson B. Reading, an early California pioneer who received a Rancho Buenaventura Mexican land grant for 26,632 acres, 10,778 ha, that is now covered by Redding and Cottonwood, California. At the time, it was the northernmost non-native settlement in California. Founding of Redding. During the gold rush, the area that is now Redding was called Poverty Flats. In 1868, the first land agent for the Central Pacific Railroad, a former Sacramento politician named Benjamin Bernard Redding, bought property in Poverty Flats on behalf of the railroad for a northern terminus. In the process of building the terminus, the railroad also built the town of Redding, which was officially incorporated on October 4, 1887. Early 20th century. In the early 20th century the town's economic growth was spurred by the significant copper and iron mineral extraction industry nearby. However, the mining industry eventually declined, causing the economy and population to falter by 1920. It recovered in the 30s as the economy boomed due to the construction of Shasta Dam to the northwest. The building of the dam, which was completed in 1945, caused Redding's population to nearly double, also spurring the growth and development of other towns in the area. Mid to late 20th century. Redding continued to grow steadily in the 1950s due to the region's growing lumber industry and tourism brought about by the newly completed dam. The constructions of Whiskeytown and Keswick dams also helped boost the economy by bringing new workers to the area. Interstate 5 was built during the 60s and 70s, which added to development and tourism in the region. Growth in Redding during the 60s and 70s was also caused by annexation of an area east of the Sacramento River made up of the unincorporated community of Enterprise. Enterprise residents voted to support the annexation primarily to acquire less expensive electricity via Redding's municipal utility, which receives power from the dam. During the 1970s, the lumber industry suffered from decline. Lumber mills in the area closed down and heavily impacted the Redding area. Things later picked up, due to a retail and housing boom in the late 1980s that continued until the mid-1990s. 21st century. In 2017, the city adopted a new flag after holding a redesign contest. In late July 2018, the car fire in Shasta County seriously impacted the Redding area with the destruction of at least 1,100 buildings, with several thousand more threatened, 38,000 people instructed to evacuate and 6 deaths. Geography and climate. Location. Redding is located at 40°3436 and 122°2213 W/40.57667° and 122.37028° W/40.57667, -122.37028, 40.576606, 122.370325. According to the United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of 61.2 square miles, 159 square kilometers. 59.6 square miles, 154 square kilometers, of it is land, and 1.5 square miles, 3.9 square kilometers, of it, 2.50%, is beneath water. Redding is located at the very northwestern end of the Central Valley, which transitions into the Cascade foothills. The city is surrounded by mountains to the north, east, and west and fertile farmland to the south. Outermost parts of the city are part of the Cascade foothills, whereas southern and central areas are in the Sacramento Valley. The elevation in Redding is 495 feet, 151 meters, on average, whereas anywhere to the north, east, or west of downtown ranges between 550 feet, 170 m, and 800 feet, 240 m, feet. Southern portions range between 400 feet, 120 m, and 500 feet, 150 m. The Shasta Dam on the Sacramento River provides a considerable level of flood protection for Redding. The dam is capable of controlling flows up to 79,000 cubic feet, 7,300 cubic meters, per second. The flow rate exceeded this threshold in both 1970 and 1974. Soils in and around town are composed mostly of clay or gravelly loam texture with red or brown mineral horizons. They are slightly or moderately acidic in their natural state. Subdivisions/areas. Official. Non-official. Mobile home communities. Shopping centers. Ecology. There are several rare and endangered species in Redding and its immediate vicinity. The Redding Redevelopment Plan EIR notes the California state-listed endangered species, slender orchid grass, Orchidia tenuis, occurs in eastern Redding near the municipal airport, where vernal pools are known to exist. This endemic grass is a federal candidate for listing and is endangered throughout its range, confined to several populations, and seriously threatened by agriculture, overgrazing, and residential development. Vernal pools provide the preferred habitat for this plant, which the California Native Plant Society considers a rare and endangered species. These same vernal pools also support federally protected species such as the federally threatened vernal pool fairy shrimp, Branchiecta lynchii. Climate. Redding has a hot summer Mediterranean climate, Köppen, CSA, with very hot, dry summers and cool, wet winters. Winter, October-April, provides the most precipitation of any season in Redding. The weather tends to be either rainy or foggy and at times, snow occurs. Summers are hot and dry, but rain is possible, usually with a thunderstorm. The average daily maximum temperature in July stays near 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius. The highest official recorded temperature in Redding was 118 degrees Fahrenheit, 48 degrees Celsius, on July 20, 1988. That was recorded at the nearby Redding Airport. Some people in town recorded as high as 122 degrees Fahrenheit, 50 degrees Celsius, that same day. Redding has an average possible sunshine of 88%, the second highest percentage, after Yuma, Arizona, of any U.S. city. The city receives an average of 4.8 inches, 12 centimeters, of snow annually. It rarely gets sleet or freezing rain. Frost occurs commonly in December through February, less often in March or November. In spring, rain is common. The city is located near the southernmost point of the influence of the westerlies, and it therefore gets much more rain than most places in the Sacramento Valley. Temperature differentials between land and sea cause moist air from the latter to flow over the city, producing precipitation, cloud, and fog in the winter. The direction of this wind reverses in the summer, as hot, high-pressure air flows from land to sea, making the area very dry. Tornadoes are extremely rare. Flooding occurs only around the area near the Sacramento River. The coldest temperature recorded in Redding was 17 degrees Fahrenheit, 8 degrees C. Demographics. 2010. The 2010 United States Census reported that Redding had a population of 89,861. The population density was 1,468.9 people per square mile, 567.2/km superscript 2. The racial makeup of Redding was 77,117, 85.8%. White, 1,092, 1.2%. African American, 2,034, 2.3%. Native American, 3,034, 3.4%. Asian, 156, 0.2%. Pacific Islander, 2,307, 2.6%, from other races, and 4,121, 4.6%, from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 7,787 persons, 8.7%. The census reported that 87,841 people, 97.8% of the population, lived in households, 1,138, 1.3%, lived in non-institutionalized group quarters, and 882, 1.0%, were institutionalized. There were 36,130 households, out of which 11,012, 30.5%, had children under the age of 18 living in them, 16,001, 44.3%, were opposite-sex married couples living together, 4,806, 13.3%, had a female householder with no husband present, 1,984, 5.5%, had a male householder with no wife present. There were 2,570, 99.0%, unmarried opposite-sex partnerships, and 204, 0.6%, same-sex married couples or partnerships. 10,344 households, 28.6%, were made up of individuals, and 4,622, 12.8%, had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.43. There were 22,791 families, 63.1% of all households. The average family size was 2.94. The population was spread out with 20,518 people, 22.8%, under the age of 18, 9,436 people, 10.5%, aged 18 to 24, 21,725 people, 24.2%, aged 25 to 44, 23,424 people, 26.1%, aged 45 to 64, and 14,758 people, 16.4%, who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 38.5 years. For every 100 females, there were 93.8 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 90.4 males. There were 38,679 housing units at an average density of 632.3 per square mile, 244.1/km superscript 2, of which 19,968, 55.3%, were owner-occupied, and 16,162, 44.7%, were occupied by renters. The homeowner vacancy rate was 2.3%, the rental vacancy rate was 6.9%. 48,179 people, 53.6% of the population, lived in owner-occupied housing units and 39,662 people, 44.1%, lived in rental housing units. Economy. The economy in Reading is largely a service economy. Therefore, employment is spread across a wide range of service professions that include healthcare, retail, and tourism. Top employers. According to the city's 2016 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, CAFR, these are the top employers in the city. Government. State and federal representation. In the California State Legislature, Reading is in the 1st Senate District, represented by Republican Brian Dahle, and the 1st Assembly District, represented by vacant. In the United States House of Representatives, Reading is in California's 1st Congressional District, represented by Republican Doug LaMalfa. Municipal government. The City Council is composed of Mayor Julie Winter, Vice Mayor Adam McIlvaine, Kristen Schroeder, Aaron Ressner, and Michael DeQuisto. The City Manager is Barry Tippin. Reading is a general law city operating under the council-manager form of government. Parks and recreation. Museums and public art. Architecture. Venues. Performing arts. Education. Higher education. Public. Private. High schools. Public. Secondary. Charter schools. Other schools. Trade schools. Non-academic learning. Media. Print. Broadcast. Television. Radio. AM radio. FM radio. Transportation. Major highways. Rail and bus transportation. Amtrak, the national passenger rail system, provides service to Reading, operating its Coast Starlight daily in both directions between Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles, California via Portland, Oregon, Sacramento, California, Oakland, California, San Jose, California, Santa Barbara, California, and all intermediate station stops. Amtrak California also provides thruway motor coach service to Stockton or Sacramento for connections to the San Joaquins, which serve the San Francisco Bay Area, San Joaquin Valley and the Los Angeles area via bus connections. Reading provides a city bus transportation system called RABA, Reading Area Bus Authority. RABA provides routes throughout the city of Reading and also provides transportation throughout Reading's suburbs. Transportation is also available by Sage Stage to Alturas and Trinity Transit to Weaverville. Reading is also served by the intercity bus companies Greyhound and Fronteras del Norte. Air transportation. Air transportation for the Reading area is provided by two general aviation airports. Reading Municipal Airport, located south of Reading, has scheduled flights from SkyWest, United Express. The smaller Benton Airpark is located on the western side of Reading. Prominent persons. This list includes persons who were born/raised/worked in, lived in, or whose identity was significantly influenced by Reading, as well as music groups that were founded in the area. Actors and entertainment industry. Authors. Business leaders and entrepreneurs. Musicians and bands. Athletes. Politicians, civil servants, and activists. Other people.